I mean, well, what it made me think. I mean, update kid. Do you know why?
I think it's just considerate that they got anything for Jay. So, no, I don't know. It's baseball. It's jargon. It's
funny because whenever I've heard that, it made me think, oh, it's not just cash. It's cash considerations, which I always feel like that means we're going to consider giving you a certain amount of cash, but it depends on what he does when he gets here.
That's what I was thinking.
Is that what it means? Is that what cash considerations are?
I don't know.
Are you mad I brought it up?
No, I'm not mad you brought it up. I mean, look, they placed him on waivers a few weeks ago, so it's just now they're able to find a trade partner, I guess, to make it happen and facilitate it. Now he's going to go off to Tampa. I like Justin Henry Malloy. But he was a nice player at the end of your roster. And Tigers have plenty of options for that player, so they just clear out space, bring in the next guy.
I think it's probably good news that they no longer have a spot for Justin Henry Malloy.
Yeah.
Because I don't think of him, he wasn't a difference maker, and he was a nice player at the end of the roster who could occasionally do something here and there.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a number of players that are going to be in that position. I mean, they could still add to this team. There's still big names out there that haven't signed. I'm still holding out hope that there's a way to get either Bregman or Bichette to improve the roster. And if they do, then that means you're going to have more decisions to make and within that roster of who stays and who goes. And
am I the only one who's concerned that we trade him to the Rays? Like, how much do you want to bet he's going to hit 20 home runs? He's going to hit 20-plus home runs next year.
You are not the only one who's concerned it was to the Rays. When I saw it was Tampa, I was like,
I'm like, why? Ooh. No, not the Rays.
So I wasn't concerned until you just brought it up. I'm like, damn it, you're right.
They always get it over on us, man. It
feels like the entire MLB. But yes, the Tigers specifically. Absolutely.
That's a good point. F.
That consideration better be good.
Is this cash that will make a difference with Skubal? Probably not.
No. Yeah, for 2 starts.
Yeah.
And not even, maybe.
Not the 8th and 9th.
Actually, not 2 starts.
not even 2 innings.
Pay for the 7th inning, please.
Yeah. No, you think about that. If Skubal's going to make, let's say he makes 36 starts in a year, it's going to be over $1 million a start. Do you think they got $1 million for Jay Hen? No.
They got like 2 innings.
Yeah,
they paid for 2 Skubal innings.
A few Skubal innings of what Skubal's going to cost.
The other thing was the announcement yesterday that Bryce Underwood was returning to Michigan. This is the world we're in now, is everything's year to year. Although the guys at Yahoo were talking about how some players, when they've signed with new schools, have signed 2-year contracts, which I think is something that it can benefit the player and the school. It can benefit the player if the player goes there and it's not working out. The school's committed to them for 2 years. It can benefit the school because they know what they have on their roster. But Underwood coming back, I think it's huge for perception for Kyle Whittingham. But he's got some developing he needs to do, and there's no question about that. And he's obviously going to have a different voice in terms of coaching him.
Yeah, he's a wildly talented player that is just scratching the surface of what he can be. And when you go from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, if you're looking for growth, it didn't look like there was a ton of growth there. I think there's one area where he clearly grew as the season went on, and that was taking a little off his fastball, finding a way to throw with a little more touch, certainly at the end of the season than what he did at the beginning of the season. Now, maybe the decision-making process, it's a whole other thing, and, deciding when you're going to run and when you're going to throw and who you're going to throw to and knowing the playbook, all that's stuff that has to be worked out. But I thought the one area for sure was that by the bowl game, he's not trying to throw the ball through somebody all the time. He actually was able to throw some touch.
So Jason Avant described that that Bryce at the beginning of the year was all fastballs and he needed to be more free throws. And we did see it as the year went on. But yeah, there's a lot that he can work on. You can see the talent, you can see the arm strength, but at the end of the day, it's hard to know what is a reasonable expectation for development. When you look at a lot of the best quarterbacks in the country, the young ones have a lot of talent around them, like coming out the seams. You got guys making plays around you. or they're mostly veterans. So, hopefully this year did him some good. I'm expecting one, maybe two more to be announced that are returning to Michigan. In the
players that haven't declared for the portal. Players
that are in the portal.
Oh, they're in
the difference is, yes, I am expecting one that's in the portal and one that's not.
A Michigan player in the portal to pull himself out and stay at Michigan.
Yes.
And a player that has not declared for the portal but will say, I'm staying at Michigan.
Yes.
Got you.
Yeah.
I just want to make that clear for everybody
else. No, I'm glad you guys got that clarification. So,
because the portal is very
So do you think fans?
Crazy right now.
I know the portal's insane. I mean, it's absolute chaos. But do you think fans are in a just tell me who's on my roster when the music stops, or do you think that they follow the daily ins and outs of the portal?
I think the fan that would typically pay attention to a roster, whether it's with like recruiting, I think out of those fans, half of them have said, just wake me up when it's over. And the other half are still kind of involved. But I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure that percentage is a large percentage of people that follow the recruiting is closely to begin with. I think that's probably a smaller, maybe 10, 20% of the team's fan base is really paying attention to recruiting.
I feel like this
small number.
The roster churn has worn you down.
Yeah, it has. At the same time, we got both teams have coaching changes here with Michigan and Michigan State. So both teams have announced their coaching staffs, and now they're able to get out there and the portal opened up over the weekend, and teams we've seen. There's a mass exodus of players that enter the portal. Doesn't mean they're going to stay in the portal. They can pull themselves out and return to the school. But now you're starting to see players announce where they're going. So like it sucks. Michigan State, Nick Marsh is going to go to Indiana. That sucks. That really sucks. But at the same time, they've got some receivers that have already announced that they're going to come to Michigan State or ready to announce that they're going to come to Michigan State. So it's like it giveth and it taketh away at the same time. I'm paying attention to it because it's a new regime, but it's not like I used to. I do kind of roll my eyes with all this because the turnover is insane. And when this is done in a week or whatever it is, because people have to go to school. You do have a semester that's going to start real soon, even though some of these guys claim that they're not going to play school, but you do have to go to school. It's going to be over quickly enough. But, yeah, I kind of just want to see what the roster looks like at the end. But at the same time, I'm also feel like I'm cheating because I want to get ahead of it. I want to see, well, where's this guy from? What did he do at the previous school? Is this worth having or not? Is he an upgrade?
So, people typically don't like change. I always say I'm trying to focus on the best part of the new world order. I really desperately do not want them to expand the playoff. I desperately do not want. I like it the way it is. I want them to move the calendar. I want conference championship games eliminated and the first round of the playoffs. Everything on campus and the championship in a bowl site on New Year's Day, and that should be it. But the one thing about NIL that is kind of awesome is if you're a huge college football fan, you get to see your players longer. The best players can get paid to stay, like Trinidad Chambliss. And there are others that might be expected to announce soon in terms of getting money to stay in college. And if you're a college football fan, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it can be. This whole portal nonsense, it's something to get used to. And it's going to take probably a couple years for me to really get used to this whole NIL portal world because it's not what I was used to. It's no longer, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it feels like to me that, kids aren't committing to schools anymore because they're loving a school. They're committing to because of money that's being offered, opportunity that's there. And that should have been part of it to begin with. But now it's like the priorities have shifted. It feels like it's money first. And then when they get up and leave, and then you see, and this is at every university, I'm not singling anybody out at Michigan State because that's the team that I root for. But you'll see the post they'll put up on Twitter that says, "Hey, I had a great time. Thank you to all the coaches that helped me along the way. The awesome teammates I had. The community. I will be a Hoosier for life or whatever it is, or whatever school that you're leaving." With that being said, is always the next.
With that being said, is the transition.
I decided to put myself into the portal and
peace.
Yeah, it's like it's annoying to see that. I don't like to see it because it's like if all that was true, why are you leaving?
You know what's crazy though is if you think about it, 1 year ago, perhaps the most important player in college football went into the portal with little fanfare, created little buzz. Turns out he came down to Georgia, which should have been an indication that maybe we should be paying more attention to this guy. And the other school was Indiana. And he chose Indiana, and he won the Heisman, and they went undefeated, and that was a quarterback from a 500 former Pac-12 team.
Yes, but it was also a player that we paid attention to because he was a Cal quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, and we paid attention because Jared Goff went to Cal, and we would ask Jared Goff Cal questions throughout the year about Fernando Mendoza.
So we kind of accidentally knew about it, but here's the other thing is right now, who's the next Fernando Mendoza? Who's the next guy from a 500 team that nobody's paying attention to? Although Georgia might have been the tip-off, is that Georgia was interested in Fernando Mendoza, but who's the next guy from a 500 team that is going to go somewhere and be a critical factor in a team that might win the Natty? And it's hard to know. Yeah, I mean, it's easier to see the guys that will transfer, like is it the TCU quarterback that's going to Indiana. You'll see other quarterbacks that'll move. The Cincinnati kid going to wherever, and I think he's going to Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Sorsby.
I think that was Sorsby going to Texas Tech. I mean, that's one thing. But finding the guy that was a quarterback at a school you didn't really hear of or didn't pay too much attention to going somewhere else, that's interesting. Like Auburn, I guess they're getting the kid from South Florida who threw for 4,000 yards and 42 touchdowns. He's going to Auburn. All
right, so straight ahead, Dan Campbell, he actually met with the media. I spoke to our morning show out of habit. It's a Tuesday. It must be what it must be because he didn't speak to the morning show today.
Jared's late.
Jared, you can call anytime.
Anytime.
Come in studio. Sit for a while. You take some calls. He actually sounds like he might like that.
Maybe.
Anyway, the best of what Dan Campbell said to the media yesterday, you will hear it next here on 97.1.